All right. Hey, everyone. I was told not to thank people because I only have 5 minutes. I'm on a tight clock. So we're going to talk a little bit about how life changed after my company was acquired. So what some of you may not know is that this is the second time presenting at TechTO. Jason deliberately sent me this picture to remind me what I looked like in 2015, talking about the merits of using your own product back when you try to improve your product every day. And I look a whole lot different, way more stressed, and way more putting my entire future on that presentation. Now I just get to share all the fun stuff with you guys. So for those of you who don't know, I wanted to talk a little bit in 60 seconds or less about the story of Sensibill. Marie called out, we were founded in 2013 alongside Sampler, alongside Ada and my buddy Mike Burchison, alongside Andrew Graham and Barwell with Eva Wong. So a lot of great folks came out of that cohort. And what our business was meant to do was to help small businesses and consumers better track their expenses through their banking app. So what we did really well was allow customers to submit invoices, receipts, and be able to attach those and digital receipts as well to their bank statements. They wouldn't just see $494 spent at Costco, they'd be able to click into the detail of a transaction. So you can imagine if you're doing expense management, very big help, at least we thought it would be. And 150 financial institutions agreed, so over the course of our run, we partnered with big money center banks like JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, some local banks like TD, Scotiabank, but I also want to give a shout out to the fintechs that are still customers of ours today, like FreshBooks and Wave. My good buddies Kirk from Wave, and I guess Dave Axler's still there paying us the big bucks. We were famously one of the first AI shops to actually be able to partner with financial institutions. This is a big pain because, of course, if you're a bank, you're in the risk business, not necessarily the technology business. Jason and I used to talk about that as well back in the day, so proud to start AI back before it was cool and preparing to kill us all. We employed around 300 people across all of our offices in the US, Canada, and the UK. And we raised around $50 million of venture capital to fuel us along our 10-year journey. And as Marie called out, in 2022, we were fortunate to be acquired by a partner of ours. They're one of the fintech partners that was a distribution partner for us, Q2, which is a public digital banking provider to community banks and credit unions across the states based in Austin, Texas. And this is that day of us getting acquired. In the Q4 office, we had to actually borrow. Daryl Heaps is a buddy of mine. We had closed our office because during COVID, we didn't want to spend a bunch of money renewing it. And so I got Isabella Gabowicz, my COO, Andrew Knapp, who's actually here with me, my VP of Client Success, the CEO and president of Q2, Matt Flake, and Kirk Coleman. So big day for me. And I want to talk a little bit in, I guess, a couple of minutes that I have left about what changed for me after Sensibill was acquired. So first and foremost, you can see a little bit of a difference in the way I look. Stress really takes a toll on you, especially during COVID when you're trying to manage how you're going to upend, how your upended family from their daily lives, and the way your business runs is going to be completely changed. So my wife said, if you sell this company, I want you to take back your mental and your physical health. So it was a big focus for me, and I've done that, and that's the way I live now. New career opportunities. So it's crazy. I thought that I would never be employable. I'm a lawyer by training. I didn't want to be a lawyer. And I figured after I sold my company, I don't know who the hell would want another CEO. So I figured, this is going to be a one and done. But it turns out that having the skills of managing a P&L, building products, selling, hiring people are very highly sought after skills. So people have come to me and said, hey, you want to run my business, my tech business? Never thought that would happen to me. And of course, I have the optionality now if I want to start a new thing that investors, trust people who have done this before. Or if I just want to fund it myself and not have to go down the VC road if need be. Also, what that helps me do is support entrepreneurs. So this is a great event. I've got great friends who have run this for 10 years plus now, but I'm also out there mentoring companies, whether it's part of organizations or one-on-one. Also being able to help them start up their companies is something that I'm super passionate about. Keeps me scratching that entrepreneurial itch, even though I'm part of a big public company. And then lastly, being able to do what's important for me. And so I don't mean that I neglected my family and my friends for the 10 years that it took to run Sensibill, but I certainly lost my fantasy football teams. I actually gave my fantasy team to my wife, who subsequently ran into the ground. So I'm not invited back to my old sports leagues anymore. But now I do have time during the weeks, on weekends, to be that kind of guy that I was before all you thought about was Sensibill 24/7. And one of the things I was speaking about before I took on this presentation was, can you help answer some of the FAQs I hear a lot about from founders that are in the middle of their business about what it's going to be like when they get acquired and the process they got acquired? I thought they were all kind of red herring kind of questions. They were like tactical things that were going to be worked out one way or another. They sounded like this. Is the acquisition painful? Is it as painful as I heard? No, it's way worse. Going through the whole stressful process of getting your company acquired, so that's an easy one. Next is, do I have to stay with the company after they've bought me? That's, again, one of these things where, you know, if you've built SAP, then you could probably fuck off when Concur buys you because you built such a big, scalable business with so many layers and levels. You can stay on as a consultant and then go do your thing in Tahiti or whatever. But most companies don't have that option, so you'll probably stay for a bit and you'll leave, right? So this is one of those things not to get hung up on. And then last, would it feel like that I'm giving my baby away when I finally sell my company? And the way I thought to answer this one is, well, if you sell too early, you probably feel like you're giving your baby away. If you sell kind of at the right time, it'll feel like you're sending your kid to college, and you'll shed a few tears, but your house will be way cleaner, and you'll probably be, you know, enjoying the quiet. But if your kid is 38 years old in the basement, you probably want them to get the fuck out, and that's kind of the way I felt, right? So it's sad, but like I was kind of ready to be done. What really matters, and this is where I'm going to let some of my nerd shit weave into my presentation. It's either going to be Star Wars, Simpsons, Marvel, whatever. What really matters is how you redefine your purpose and sense of self after you sell your company. For 10 years, I was a Sensibill CEO. I was the founder and CEO of Sensibill. I was at this event, I was at DMZ events, I was at VC events, I was at lawyers events. That was who I was. I was at Money 2020, all kinds of conferences across the world, and that's who I was. The receipts guy, the expense management guy, the Sensibill guy. But when you get acquired, that isn't who you are anymore. It's who you were, and now you got to figure out who you want to be. And so what I'd ask every founder to remember, if you're in a position where you're getting acquired, is start thinking about life after acquisition. Because now, I haven't even figured that out yet. Do I want to stay at Q2 for 20 years in a public company? I don't know if they want to deal with a pain in the ass like me for 20 years. Do I want to start another company and become known as the XYZ guy when I start that company? I don't know. Do I just want to be someone who helps founders across the ecosystem? Maybe it's some combination. But this is the thing that you spend most of your time thinking about post-acquisition, not the other things that we'll figure out a way to work out. The last thing I get asked about a lot is, was it worth it? Don't read into the pause. Yeah, you're all doing great stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be very well worth your time and stress and energy, and it all ends up happily ever after for everybody. But yes, because of all of those things. I get to be in a room with folks like you, talk about my story, hopefully give back. Hopefully one thing I say sticks out in your head when you deal with a similar challenge or issue, or we're able to connect at some point after, and I can imbue some kind of wisdom or help you out along the way. That makes it worth it to me. It makes it worth it to me that I can now refocus on family and friends and doing all the things that I really love doing. It also means a great deal to me that I've stood alongside great entrepreneurs and founders, people who have been at companies that have changed the map for Toronto tech, and I get to call them friends and mentors and people that I get to have a whole lot of fun with. So in that respect, it is very much worth it. And so I don't know if I have time for questions, but that's me if you want me on LinkedIn, and that's my presentation.
Questions? Don't we have a runner?
Okay. How are we going to do that? We don't have a runner? Oh, okay. You take this.
Sweet.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Just a quick question. Have you considered like start your work at the government, like upcoming government? Because you said you don't know what you want to do, so I just want to ask this question.
I would be a very bad person to have in a position of government authority. I will just tell you that right now. Did you see this? Right? I mean, listen, I'm happy to influence policy. I'm happy to be, like, I've got awesome friends who are way better at dealing with all that political bullshit than I am, have way more patience for that stuff. Andrew Graham is like at the front of the line in terms of advocating for open banking. So I feel like they got that covered. I would just cause a whole big mess. I think people like me for the lulz because I shoot straight. It's just kind of the only way I know how.
So
people don't want me helping decide policy.
Canada.
Yeah, like I spend so much of my time gambling on sports. You want me influencing policy? Like, what do you want?
Better return than most of the government money.
I'm banned with 3 sports books by now. True story. We can talk about that later too if you want.
Hey, do you think it would have been a better idea for you to prioritize your health throughout the journey of your company rather than after?
I wish I knew you 10 years ago. So yes, yeah, it would have been great.
One last question. Put up your hand. Oh, wow. Okay, because you're closest.
Have you thought about investing your money into the Canadian ecosystem? So as an angel investor or opening up your own shop?
Yes, actively an angel investor, and also being an investor in funds, folks who supported me along the way that I have a lot of respect for and know well, and investing with friends and companies. So yeah.
So can we get a round of applause?
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.